It's been a tough time for Arsenal fans recently, as they became the first team in 15 years to go 4 consecutive Premier League games without a win while starting the day at the top. Ironically, the last time this happened was also with Arsenal, back in 2008. Football can be cruel sometimes, but this isn't the time for jokes, angry outbursts, or deep analysis. It's a strange situation because it feels like it's all over, yet technically, it's not. It's almost like mourning a beautifully promising season that's hanging by a thread. We can't perform a post-mortem while the patient is still alive, right? Arsenal's captain, Martin Ødegaard, has expressed the team's determination to channel the hurt from their recent defeat to Manchester City by bouncing back with a 3-1 win over Chelsea. This victory has pushed Arsenal back to the top of the Premier League, 2 points clear of Manchester City, but it's important to note that Pep Guardiola's side has 2 games in hand. So what exactly is happening to Arsenal? Is their season in freefall, or is there still a chance to turn things around? We'll delve into these questions and more, but first, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. Arsenal finally saw themselves clearly once more. It was a dynamic response to their recent slump, with Chelsea easily brushed aside as Arsenal focused on recapturing the qualities that had previously placed them at the top of the league. Manager Mikel Arteta couldn't hide his satisfaction, having navigated an intense few weeks and learned a great deal about his team, himself, and how to handle the pressures and challenges of the sport. The support from the stands was thunderous, with many wondering if recent events would dampen the crowd's enthusiasm, but instead they roared with delight as Arsenal attacked relentlessly and produced moments of breathtaking skill. This was a crowd that refused to give up. Despite making significant strides this season, April has proved to be a challenging month for Arsenal, both on the pitch and in the league standings. Recent performances by Arsenal had left little room for error, with mistakes and lapses in focus costing them dearly. From the moment they drew with West Ham United a few weeks ago, Arsenal seemed to be sleepwalking through their matches. Even though they managed to draw with Southampton, the same issues continued to plague them. In their recent game against Manchester City, Arsenal were hoping for a flawless performance, but unfortunately fell far short of their best. It was the most significant Premier League game for Arsenal in almost 20 years. Manager Mikel Arteta spoke with confidence, stating that his players believed they could win. However, he also acknowledged that they would need to deliver a flawless performance, with absolute perfection required at this level of competition. The absence of injured centre-back William Saliba was felt acutely, with Rob Holding struggling to fill the void. Defending with a high line and pressing Man City's talented players proved to be a challenge, with Arsenal's runners failing to account for City's forwards, leaving gaps for Kevin De Bruyne to exploit. Despite Thomas Partey's valiant efforts to control the situation, it was too late, and City's energy only made Arsenal more hesitant. Their composure was lacking, and they were either second-guessing or rushing their passes, which contrasted sharply with the confidence they had shown earlier in the season. The second half of the match was the opposite of how they had been playing earlier in the campaign. City enjoyed possession and dominated the match, leaving Arsenal trying not to get caught. Manager Mikel Arteta was disappointed with Arsenal's performance, conceding that they were nowhere near the level of their title rivals during the 4-1 defeat. What has become of Arsenal's defence? The recent game against Southampton was a chance for the league leaders to regain control and get back to winning ways without any drama. However, they found themselves behind after just 27 seconds, adding to the list of the fastest conceded Premier League goals this season. This begs the question, why has Arsenal's defence been faltering? According to former Arsenal player and tactics analyst Adrian Clark, the most obvious change is the absence of William Saliba due to injury and the subsequent inclusion of Rob Holding at centre-back. With Saliba in the side, Arsenal's goals against average this season was 0.9, whereas in the last 6 matches without him it doubled to 1.8. Holding's lack of pace is causing problems when Arsenal press high and commit bodies forward, leaving them exposed to transitions and counters. In the absence of Saliba and fullback Takahiro Tomiyasu, who also sustained a season-ending knee injury, Holding's lack of speed has forced the defensive line to be set deeper to protect him. Unfortunately, this has created a bigger hole in midfield, making it difficult for Thomas Partey to carry the midfield on his own. A closer look reveals that their defence was already in decline before his injury, dating back to the late December restart after the World Cup. The team has been conceding more shots and goals, including higher quality shots in dangerous areas. Set pieces have been a particular problem, with Arsenal conceding more shots from set pieces and facing higher quality chances since the tournament. Despite having the same zonal arc and man-marking setup as before, the marking has been less aggressive and players have been switching off more often. This issue needs to be addressed quickly by Arteta and his set-piece coach, Nicolas Jover, whether it's due to personnel, tactics or a lack of focus. The main issue plaguing Arsenal lately has been a sharp increase in individual errors. The team has been suffering from mental lapses at crucial moments, leading to unfavourable results. It's possible that the pressure of high-stakes games is contributing to these mistakes. However, if Arsenal can cut down on these costly blunders, they will see an improvement in their performance. The problem with Arsenal's recent form seems to stem more from their execution than their overall strategy. One key factor in this strategy is Zinchenko's role, which makes it unlikely that Kieran Tierney will replace him at left-back. The team will still be experiencing some difficulties when Tierney takes on this position. Furthermore, Arsenal's lack of control during games can be partially attributed to Thomas Partey's recent lack of composure, which is uncharacteristic of him. How can they return to their roots? And how can they regain their mental composure? These are the pressing questions that demand answers. Recent performances suggest that much of their struggle stems from psychological hurdles, whether it's maintaining focus while defending or taking a brief pause to think in possession. Arsenal must rediscover their freedom on the pitch. Although not every aspect of their play during the first 3 quarters of the season was flawless, they were at least in sync. It's possible, albeit highly unlikely, that the colossal elephant charging through the league unexpectedly stumbles and falls. Nevertheless, Arsenal's battered players must rise to their feet and soldier on. They must tune out the external noise, suppress their emotions, and return to the grind. The high-stakes world of elite sports allows for little time to process human reactions. So, what's next for Arsenal? In the short term, it's all about preparing for the next crucial game and striving to get back to their best form. Ending their recent poor run was a minimum requirement, and the revamped team brought a touch of style to the task. Winning was important, but winning in their own unique way was doubly so, as it allowed them to rediscover their identity and release all the frustration of the past few weeks with beauty and finesse. It was also crucial for the team to believe that they were still in the race, even though it's a long shot. Looking to the longer term, the focus will be on the next stage of the team's development, and recruitment will play a crucial role. With the Champions League on the horizon for the first time in 7 years and another shot at the big Premier League monster, Arteta, sporting director Edu, and the rest of the team must consider the shape of a squad that can compete at the highest level. A couple of years ago, the focus was on elevating the squad, while last summer it was about strengthening the first team. Perhaps it's a combination of both that's needed to take the team to the next level. If you're an Arsenal fan, it's tough to gain perspective on the current situation. However, I believe that when the season comes to an end, you'll look back on the amazing moments of joy and exhilarating highs of those last-minute comebacks, rather than the disappointing nights like the recent match against City. It's important to remember that City has a squad that's been built over several years, while Arsenal is a young team with a young manager. It was always going to be difficult, but this season has been one of the best in the Premier League in terms of wins, goals, points and performances. They have also secured a spot in the Champions League for the first time in half a decade, and they appear to have finally sorted out their structure and identity as a club and team. It's a fantastic achievement, considering that at the start of the year, no one would have expected Arsenal to finish in the top 4. After the recent match against Chelsea, they bounced back, displaying beautiful attacking patterns, briefly sitting at the top of the league. They're now in a better position to prepare for their upcoming game against Newcastle United. Do they still believe they can finish strong? Arteta stated, "For sure, we discussed that. There are 4 games to go. The only thing we can control is to win our matches, and let's see what happens." Regardless of how the season ends, they should be extremely proud of the coaching staff and players. Hopefully, this is just the beginning for this exciting team. Thank you for tuning in. What do you think went wrong for Arsenal? Do you think they still have a chance? We encourage you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more.